Supers. Sorry, we started about 5 minutes late here. I hope you're having an amazing day. I have 8 articles to talk about today, plus some news on Shark Tank that I will talk about if I remember to at the end, because we have a video coming out talking about season 13, episode 1, which premieres tomorrow night. Really excited about that. All 4 pitches will be here on the Super Joe Pardo channel after they air. So we have an Evergrande update. We have Twitch had a major hack and data leak. Crazy. If you use Twitch, go change your password. DC area hotels projected to lose 2.3 billion in 2021. GM says it will double its annual revenue by 2030. That seems overly enthusiastically positive. Hollywood's shift to streaming is making some workers regret getting into the industry. Kroger hiring 20,000 associates ahead of the holiday season rush. And Asia's richest man to launch 7-Eleven in India. I'm actually surprised. I kind of assumed 7-Eleven existed in India. It's already in a bunch of other countries. And I need you to think about pulling a George Costanza and do the opposite. That'll be our last article for today. So let me get my screen shared up here. Evergrande, creditors of Evergrande linked bond let me start that over. Creditors of Evergrande linked bond yet to be paid. Holders of a dollar bond guaranteed by China Evergrande Group and one of its units are yet to receive repayment on maturity. Bloomberg News reported on Thursday, citing people with knowledge of the situation. Jumbo Fortune Enterprises, a joint venture whose owners include Evergrande's main onshore unit, issued the bond at an initial amount of $260 million, according to the report. Some bondholders did not receive the payment that matured on October 3rd. As of Thursday in Hong Kong, the news agency said a non-payment of the bond's principal may constitute a default, as the note has no grace period, although 5 business days would be allowed if the failure to pay were due to administrative or technical error, the Bloomberg report said. Evergrande did not immediately respond to Reuters' request for comment. Once China's top-selling property group, Evergrande is facing one of the country's largest ever defaults as it struggles with more than $300 million in debt. Its fate is also unsettling global markets, wary about the fallout of one of China's biggest borrowers toppling. And as of today, I believe it is still frozen. Yeah, September 30th. So it's still halted. So maybe, just maybe, they're able to pay back this bond. I hope. That would be awesome for all parties and people who are needus, or are reliant on Evergrande to do, at least do what they're supposed to do, not even necessarily do well. But hopefully that is the case. And hopefully it's just a technical error or glitch or something that's preventing the repayment of said bond. So that is the Evergrande update for today. That's all I got for right now. We will stay in tune with what's going on and track this as it continues. The multi-million-dollar payouts of Twitch's top 100 streamers leaked. Here's how much your favorite creator is reportedly making. Amazon Twitch was hacked, which resulted in a major data breach. A list of the highest paid channels and how much they were paid was reportedly included in the hack. A channel operated by voice actors took the top spot with just shy of $10 million in earnings across the last 2 years. That is pretty ding ding. Good for them, but not good for Twitch because their data, it wasn't just the like, oh, this is how much this Twitch person's making, this streamer's making, this streamer's making. No, it is actually the entire source code for the website. So it's like 120 gigabyte file, I think it was, or 125 gigabyte file of data pulled from the hack, was circulating once it went up on the message board 4chan. As the content circulated on Wednesday, people began highlighting choice details from the data, such as the highest paid Twitch channels. So it's the top. Let me pull it up here. The top channel Critical Role between August 2019 and October 2021 made $9.6 million. Of course, that's before any exclusivity deals that they might have to stay on the channel and not go somewhere else. And even Shroud, there you go. Shroud's a name. At least even I know that name. Just over $2 million pulling in over the course of 2 years. So it's pretty crazy how much is getting paid out to these creators, and it is disturbing that somebody was able to pull that much data, including the whole of Twitch. Everything that makes Twitch run down and upload it as a torrent, and for people to dissect it. And if you haven't changed your password yet to Twitch, you should definitely go do that. I did that earlier this morning. DC area hotels projected to lose $2.3 billion in business travel revenue in 2021. The DC-based American Hotel and Lodging Association estimates the hotels in the region will lose $2.36 billion in business travel revenue for all of 2021, down 86.5% from 2019 levels, and an even bigger loss of business travel revenue seen in 2020. Hotels in the district alone will likely lose more than $1.2 billion in revenue from lost business travel bookings this year, the association said. Hotels in Virginia and Maryland are projected to lose $1.5 billion and $891 million, respectively. It will likely be years before the business travel comes back. The association currently estimates business travel revenue for hotels won't return to pre-pandemic levels until 2024. Business travel bookings are the largest source of revenue for the hotels. The lack of business travel and events at DC hotels continues to have significant repercussions for unemployment. In the district alone, the number of hotel jobs is 7,000 below pre-pandemic levels. Maryland hotels also currently employ 7,000 fewer people compared to the pre-pandemic employment levels. In Virginia, the deficit is 12,500. There's nothing else here. So businesses are not getting together like they were for events and things like that. I know in my event, Independent Podcast Conference, we did not host our event in person last year or this year in September. We're hopeful that we will host it in 2022, but I'm hopeful. I got my fingers crossed. We have the date booked, and we are very much working towards making sure that we have everything in play for people to join us in person. And hopefully, this will all get squashed and people will get back to travel and business will start to pick up, and they'll be able to hire the people needed for those hotels and the industry, the hospitality industry as a whole will start to get back on track. I think 2024 sounds Optimistic, to say the least. I think that the effects on the economy will really start to be seen over the as inflation continues and things play out over the next year into going into 2023. We'll start to see like if there is a good opportunity for these conferences and things to come back. I know everybody wants to get back to them. I know I would love to get back to them in a big way. I miss seeing people and interacting and things like that. But it's just a matter. It's a matter of if everybody feels safe to do so, right? Like there's lots of people that do feel safe, and there are conferences going on and there are events going on, but not necessarily enough people feel that way consistently, and to make a judgment months in advance to book a hotel to make sure that all that can happen, in a timely manner. GM says it will double annual revenue by 2030 to 280 billion in digital push to be seen more like Tesla. It's really funny that the giants, the giant automakers, GM and Ford, and all point and they try to poke fun at Tesla and poke holes in Tesla. But here GM is saying, oh yeah, no, we want to be more like Tesla. Yeah, we want a big piece of that pie. General Motors plans to double its annual revenues and grow profit margins by the end of this decade. The automaker announced the new revenue target, along with fatter projected operating profit margins of 12 to 14% on Wednesday. The company is kicking off the first of a 2-day investor meeting where it will detail exactly how the company plans to hit those targets. So I'm guessing they're planning on hiring some more programming engineers to enable, to do these things. The scary thing about this is, look, I like Tesla. I at some point will own a Tesla in the not too distant future, but the issue that I take with some of the model that Tesla provides is that you have to, you buy the car, it comes with all the same standard features built into the car that like the higher end model gets, but you have to unlock it through the app in your phone, which is kind of cool, but it's also kind of not. I think it was BMW that tested the idea that like you could have heated seats if you're willing to download the app and pay for it in the app to unlock it in your car. And it's like, I don't know that we want to get to, I don't know if we want to get there to piecemeal out everything. What Tesla offers in addition is like, oh, you want more performance? Okay, here you go. Press the button. You got more performance. You want self-driving? Boom, press the button. It enables it in your car. These are in addition, these are above and beyond like heated seats in a BMW. Unless, BMW is trying to get the price point of their cars down to a certain point. Like, hey, BMW wants to produce a $23,000 car and compete with the Model 3. Cool. Having to unlock your heated seats, is that the way? Is that really the message that you want to send about the ultimate driving machine? I don't think so. I don't think that that's a good long-term play. I think it leaves a bad taste in your customer's mouth, and a bad experience in general. So yeah, I don't know that that's the way, and I don't know that GM has maybe figured. I'm hoping that they aren't just looking at the numbers and saying, "Oh yeah, we can make all this money if we, decide to start locking things down and add things to it." Let's see. The 2-day investor meeting, including the product test drives on Thursday, is meant to provide a clear strategy to persuade investors to value the company more like a technology startup such as Tesla, which is valued at more than $750 billion compared to $79 billion for GM. I mean, this is also the company that just until the other day, a few days ago, wasn't buying their chips direct. They were buying it through a third party. So they have a long way to go in getting there. I mean, I own my current electric vehicle is a Chevy Bolt for now, and 65%, 70% of that car is actually made by LG. So that doesn't instill confidence that in 8 years they're going to be able to turn this all around that quickly and become a technology startup. And I throw that in air quotes for the people listening to the podcast. There's a bunch of numbers here. Automakers in the process of investing $35 billion in electric and autonomous vehicles through 2025 as it aims to become an all-electric automaker by 2035. I think that's the potential's there for it to be an all-electric by 2035. If they start today and they actually start producing their own batteries instead of relying on companies like LG to make every single battery that they are putting into their vehicles. And GM has its own cultural issues with the idea that, their dealerships are set up to make money through service, and electric vehicles have a substantial lot less of problems with their cars and regular maintenance that almost no regular maintenance is occurring, so those cars are not coming into the shop and producing for those dealerships. So I've read plenty of stories. I have friends that have had experiences where those GM Chevy dealerships were like, yeah, we're not really that interested in helping you with whatever you have, because you're not helping us stay in business. So it'll be interesting to see if they can actually come through on this. I like tracking GM, and we'll continue to track GM going forward here and seeing how they are able to navigate this new future of technology breakthroughs. And I don't know that battery is the end all be all, like is the ultimate goal here, but it's the next short term goal for vehicles is batteries. Hollywood's shift to streaming is making some workers regret getting into the industry. We shouldn't be begging for lunch breaks, said one specialty costume manufacturer who has worked in the industry for a decade. A decade seems like a really short time in the film industry, but yeah, I mean, it's a long time in most. It's a long time, but it just, not super long. What I wanted to point out here was that where's the more than 98% of the 60,000 workers in the union voted to authorize a strike if an agreement can't be reached with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, or AMPTP, which represents the industry's production companies. It would be the first nationwide strike in the union's 128-year history. So the thing is they have worked crazy hours to pump out this incredible content that now that we have streaming, it seems like every TV show wants to become the next hey, we're gonna make this TV show and we're gonna give it a film quality to this TV show, and we're only gonna work on like an eighth of the budget, or like a quarter of the budget that we would have if we were doing a TV show or doing a movie. Sorry, and that is a problem. So one of the people, and I don't see the quote here for some reason that I saw this morning, where one, I believe, lady was talking about the fact. Oh, here you go. She worked on the Scarnati, who's worked on the franchises like The Hunger Games, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Captain America, said she recently worked 21 days in a row, where the shortest day was 12 hours, most days were 14, and the longest day was 19 hours. So the pace that these entertainment giants are trying to produce content for their streaming is at a breakneck speed, because the streaming never ends. People don't, there's no such thing as a rerun. So you're always behind the eight ball and trying to create new content, kind of like here on YouTube. And but the production value, it's not like the production value has shrunk. The production value has actually gone up, because it's like, oh, because we want people to subscribe to this, to our services and pay more money for, it's like, hey, you got cable and you got all these different subscriptions to pay for. And we want to be able to justify that, kind of like how HBO has done it. But the thing about HBO is, they produce like one or two series, 3 series, 4 series, high quality series, maybe in a year, versus like, hey, we have 52 weeks in a year and we want to make sure people stay subscribed. So we can't have just low quality, talking head content. We got to have the best, and reruns don't exist. So, content gets old fast. It's the old adage of like, the internet is a giant black hole, and it's like, I created this piece of content. It took, 1 million man hours to produce, and it's going to be awesome. And I'm going to throw it into the black hole, and like, cool. That's awesome. We love it. What else you got? Because we're moving on now. What's the next thing? And I would hate to see them fall into a strike. Kind of like, reminiscent of the writer's strike just a handful of years ago, and basically making everything coming to a standstill while they figure out they need more people to produce these things, but they need high level skilled people to produce these things, and there's only so many of those people. So it's daunting at best. Daunting at best, and catastrophic at worst for these companies. The NBCs, the Universals, the ABCs, and all those companies to have this strike potentially happen, because they just are stretching themselves too thin for this high quality movie like content. And I guess I could throw Apple Plus into that mix, but. Yeah, I'm going to track this, and we'll see where this goes over the coming weeks. Kroger hiring 20,000 associates ahead of the holiday season rush. Kroger is hosting a virtual and in-person hiring event on October 13th. I'd be very curious to see how many people actually show up for this. Kroger is looking to fill 20,000 positions across the nation in an effort to prepare for the holiday season, even as widespread labor shortages continue. In order to do so, the nation's largest grocery chain is hosting. I didn't know Kroger was the largest. We don't even think we have a Kroger around here in the Philly area. Is hosting a hybrid hiring event on October 13th, where it will try and fill retail, e-commerce, manufacturing, supply chain, merchandising, logistics, corporate and pharmacy, and healthcare roles. Wow, that seems like a tall order to be trying to fill all that in. But the move will help the company, which serves over 11 million customers every day across dozens of brands, prepare for the upcoming season, where customers are planning to return to larger family gatherings and celebrations. Says the Senior Vice President and Chief People Officer, Tim Massa. However, in order to attract applicants amid widespread labor shortages, the company touted that it is offering a culture of opportunity and career with purpose, competitive pay and benefits, and flexible schedules. Wow, that's a lot of things to be offering there. The company says it's investing an additional $350 million in 2021 in its associates. This includes increasing the average hourly wage to more than $16 an hour across the nation. And when coupled with benefits, total compensation is more than $21 an hour. The company isn't alone in its mad dash to hire a slew of workers ahead of what's projected for this season. Amazon is seeking to hire 125,000 additional employees nationwide. Target and Walmart are looking to boost their workforce by 100 and 150,000 respectively. That look, It's not easy to find good help. It's even harder to find great help, and increasing the pay is probably your best bet at doing so. I think also squashing the pandemic would probably considerably help as well. Not putting so many people's lives at potentially at risk. And I think as we see, as small businesses are trying to compete with that, because like in theory, if they could all fill those 375,000, just between Amazon, Walmart, and Target, 375,000 positions, that's a whole lot of jobs that, people that are running small businesses are they're all competing against. And I've done some videos about that, what you could do to hire to try to boost your offering, your benefits package, to enable people to be incentivized to come back and work. And I also think looking at the culture, I think is really important. Now, I don't personally know much about Kroger. Like I said, we don't have one as far as I know around here, but I do tend to think that the quote unquote culture of opportunity and career with purpose, competitive pay and benefits and flexible schedules all kind of sounds like lip service. But like a marketing, bullet point, I'm curious to see, a year from now, 2 years from now, like how much of this actually has worked out for these companies to like put together these above and beyond packages for their employees, and if they're actually following through with it. I also wonder, maybe Kroger didn't let as many employees go during the pandemic. I haven't tracked that. Maybe I should go back and check that out, because they're only hiring 20,000 associates. I say only, but comparatively speaking, to Target, Walmart, and Amazon. I'm curious. Maybe they didn't let as many people go as some other companies did once the pandemic hit. So, because people still need to eat, that is very much a thing. Let's see, Mukesh Ambani. I'm not sure how to say his name, and I or hers name for that matter. I guess it's Asia's richest man to launch 7-Eleven in India. I'm very surprised that the 7-Eleven didn't already exist. I also feel like they could have used a better picture here than this sign that, like, while the sign is fine, it seems like a rusty pole that it's sitting on, not like freshly painted or anything. Let's see. First store is set to open in Mumbai on Saturday, so it's coming up here in just a couple of days. Company owned by Asia's richest person is set to launch 7-Eleven convenience stores across India. The retail arm, let's see, Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Industries says it will open its first store in Mumbai on Saturday. The announcement of the franchise agreement comes just days after rival Indian retailer Future Group ended its deal with the U.S. chain. Interesting. The Texas-based 7-Eleven chain has more than 77,000 stores in 18 countries, which, again, I am surprised that it has not already been in India. In a statement, Reliance Retail Ventures said that there will be rapid rollout, in quotes, of 7-Eleven stores in key neighborhoods and commercial areas across the greater Mumbai cluster to start with. India is the second largest country in the world and has one of the fastest growing economies. It's an ideal time for the largest convenience retailer in the world to make our entry into India, said President and Chief Executive Officer of SEI, Joe DePinto. The 2019 agreement with Future Group was terminated earlier this month as the firm could not meet store opening targets and payment of franchise fees. So it sounds like maybe they already had some stores, or they were planning on doing it and then it never got off the ground. With the turnover of $21 billion, Reliance Retail Ventures is India's largest and the most profitable retailer in India. Uh, do, 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 do. Yeah, so I love the fact that so apparently there was a deal falls through, somebody's there to pick it up, and not only pick it up, but is already set to open up a store on just in a few days here. So I don't know when exactly the turnover was, but it's great to see people have access to. I mean, convenience stores are great, right? And 7-Eleven, while some love or hate them, I live in Philly, so Wawa is my de facto. We have only not many 7-Elevens in our area at all that I know of, and that convenience of being able to go in and get food and items and have a level of quality to the 7-Elevens or to those convenience stores, and in turn 7-Elevens, is awesome for people to get to experience, and really should help their economy, and the people in that economy have access to quick food, drinks, and supplies that they need. So looking forward to hearing more about the success story there going forward. Want your business to boom? Make it like George Costanza and do the opposite of normal. So if you don't know, ever heard of Seinfeld, there was a character, George Costanza, and in one episode he decides he's going to do the opposite of everything because his whole life has been a disaster. So he's like, you know what I need to do? I need to just do the opposite of whatever I would think. If I think it should be one way, I need to zig instead of zag and go that way. So this goes on to say the trick is to not just do the opposite, but to be bold and take some smart, calculated risks in order to create some new additional profit centers. I think anybody who has now lived through the pandemic with their business has absolutely had to do so, or they've had to have some severe, some very big cash reserves for a rainy day that is now turning into a rainy year, that's turning into a rainy 2 years, and potentially another 1 to 2 years of uncertainty going forward. I think it's just a really good reminder that we can't predict what the future is going to hold. And I think that to me, the pandemic has been an opportunity to be mindful and grateful for what we have and the opportunities that we have, and the people around us, and what we can do to better ourselves and those opportunities around us, and be super, as one says. So, let's see. In this case, there was an example that I wanted to pull up. For example, a spa company in New York called Higher Dose. The secret sauce of this company was that the spas bathed you in infrared light, creating a detoxifying experience unlike any other. Cool, right? Yes, unless a pandemic comes along and forces you to close all your locations almost overnight. Now what? The conventional wisdom would be to close down, take your lumps, wait it out, and hope for the best. But the problem with conventional wisdom is that it is, conventional. Instead, owner-entrepreneur Katie Capps decided to do the opposite. She leaned into e-commerce, an area Higher Dose had barely touched previously, and started selling infrared blankets. At a time when everyone was home and needing comforting, this new product became a big hit. As a result, these days, while the spas are open once again, Higher Dose is rocking it at just as much with an additional profit center, e-commerce. Doing the opposite can work. It worked for Higher Dose, and it can work for you. It's time to boom your business, don't you think? Yeah, we talk about this on this channel all the time. You need to find other opportunities that make sense, that tie in with your current target audience, that they're already buying this. they might want to buy this as well. Do some questioning. Find out what your customers want. What's the pain points that they have? They're already trusting you, right? Trust is the hardest thing to gain. So going forward, think about these kinds of things where it's like, what can I do to take that next step with that customer, right? What is the next problem? Now, some people might come off and think that that comes from like a place of weakness or that a place of, uncertainty. But the reality is your customers that trust you probably like you because they trust you and they want to see you succeed. So they want you to take that next step and they want you to figure out what else can I do to provide for my customers. So that doesn't necessarily mean being a one all, the next Walmart, but it does, or next, Amazon. But what it does mean is that they trust you in a certain area of their life or in their business, and you can look for what the next problem that they have is. Like, hey, we have the solution. And I think, stepping into e-commerce, if you aren't familiar with e-commerce, it can be very daunting. I probably should do a course here at some point talking about what we can, how you can take those steps from transitioning your business into e-commerce. What's some of the easiest ways? What's some of the cheapest ways, or inexpensive ways, I should say, to do so? And if I should do a video like that, make sure you drop a like down below in this video, and I'll look at doing that. But yeah, you need to always be looking at 1, 2, 3 steps ahead and say, okay, I don't know anything about e-commerce, but I can start to learn now, and that'll change into another profit center going forward. Everyone, I appreciate you watching and listening to the EntrepreNEWS. It's always a pleasure to be here today. I'm looking forward to next to Friday, tomorrow, because tomorrow will be new Shark Tank Season 13 day. I will have all 4 pitches up probably between 10 and 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So I'm looking forward to that. We have more Undercover Billionaire coming down the pike, as well as more past seasons of Shark Tank reaction videos coming down the pike. So I look forward to seeing all of you in the premieres of those. So make sure if you catch a premiere, I'm probably watching and chatting along with you. And I just enjoy the super community and everybody that gets involved and adds their input. And it's really great to be able to serve you. So I hope you have an amazing day. I will see you in the next video, which I'm going to start putting them over here. Go check one of those out.